What traditions do you have at Christmas? My favourite is our Advent house. It's the way that our children get their daily extra dose of sugar through the month of December. But maybe you have particular foods you eat or things you do on particular days. I don't know what it is for you. We can all be quite traditional, really, when it comes to it. I find generally older people and younger people are the most traditional people. But we've always done it this way, says the older member of a church. And the 11-year-old in the youth group you're running when you did something last year and now they're expecting you do it this year again. Well, traditions aren't bad, are they necessarily? Unless they keep us from God. In our section in Luke's account of Jesus' life today, everyone is expecting Zechariah and Elizabeth to name their baby after Dad, to name him Zechariah. And they're almost about to write it down on the piece of paper, so to speak, when Elizabeth interrupts and says, no, he's not to be called Zechariah. So they turn to Dad, and he asks for a writing tablet. Whoa, hold on here, let's just deal with this. A writing tablet. Remember back in chapter 1, Luke says that he's carefully investigated everything so that we can be sure and confident and certain of what has been taught about Jesus. But it's not just people's memories. People had ways of writing things down, even in those days. So that helps us to believe with certainty the truth of all these things. So anyway, back to the tablet. He asks for a tablet and he writes on it, his name is John, which means the Lord is gracious. Now, why would they call him that? Why would they break their traditions and risk offending their family and friends? Well, God had told them to do it back in chapter 1, verse 13. And I think that was day 2 of our Christmas countdown. We looked at that section of Luke's account. So traditions can be good. If we're not a traditionalist at all, chances are that could even become a tradition, couldn't it? Well, I've never been a traditionalist. Oh, okay, look out, you're a traditionalist. But when those traditions keep us from God, then that's a problem. Traditions aren't to have the top spot. God is. When you say it like that, it sounds so obvious, doesn't it? Of course God should have the top spots. And yet it's so much harder to spot those things in our own lives. It's harder when it goes against what our family and friends are doing, or maybe it's against everything that we've known and experienced. So it's uncertain to tread those paths. But Christians, whatever traditions we might have, we can't be ultimately traditionalists. Zechariah and Elizabeth were learning something vital, that all our traditions must be subject to God's word, which is scary if we build our lives on those traditions. But the Lord is gracious is a better foundation to build on, even if God takes us and asks us to go out of our comfort zones and away from the approved paths of our family or of our friends.